Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Srila Prabhupada ki जय गौर ब्रह्मानंद जी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादं सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्ताशक्तिकम्। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय द्वैता चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। So we're discussing on weeks. Okay, maybe Pandran going to.
Jiva Himsana refers to the killing of animals or to envy of other living entities. There are many religious propagandists who do not know how the ultimate problems of life can be solved. And they also try to educate people in a form of sense gratification. This is also Jiva Himsana.
So what is Jiva Himsa? And envy. And what else? Based on second paragraph.
So educating people for the sense gratification.
Or if we don't tell people what is really the goal of life, then that is also Jiva Himsa. But if we train them, eat, sleep, and be merry, then that is also because what is the nature of envy? Envy means you hate the other person, or you don't like them, or you're not their well wisher. So when we are not well wisher of every living entity, then it's also like I'm good. And otherwise, I want to assist everybody to go closer to Krishna. So when are we starting the program? Summer has already come. Okay. Yes, sir. Continue.
As far as material profits are concerned, one should know that whatever material profit one has must be abandoned at the time of death. Such profit has no eternal benefit. Similarly, adoration by mundane people is valueless because after death one has to accept another body. Material adoration and titles are decorations. that cannot be carried over to the next body. In the next life, everything is forgotten. These unwanted creepers look exactly like the Bhakti creeper. That is Arjuna reasons. A pure devotee can distinguish between the Bhakti creeper and a mundane creeper, and he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate.
So what are your reflections? There is a lot here. And what are some of the weeds discussed here? One is envy, which is, or basically, even if like just not willing to share Krishna with others is also Jiva Hamsa. What else? Like basically, one of the videos just thinking about my progress. I'm good, all is good. My progress. Then what else? Huh? Hurting other with our words. Yeah, that is also Jiva Himsa. What else? What is adoration?
Attracted by people around.
I want people to adore me. Glorify me. Uh, uh, respect me or have good thoughts about me. And so we all know these things, but are we able to act on it, or we still do all our activity to receive glorification? How many times we are able to do something for pleasure of Krishna? Mostly we see the weeds are always growing with our bhakti. Is that correct, right? Whatever we are doing, we are trying to get some name, fame, some glorification for ourselves. We want some adoration for ourselves. You all experience, or I'm the only one who is in that boat? Everyone is there with me, right? So how do we come out of this disease? So this is not pure bhakti, right? Why? Because bhakti is meant to glorify Krishna. Here we are doing bhakti to glorify ourselves. This is not bhakti, this is bhakti to ourselves. We are doing our own bhakti. In the name of Krishna, we're using Krishna to do our own bhakti. So how do we come out of this? You identify the weed. If you don't identify the weed, then maybe you don't have the weed. Maybe you are just not able to identify. But Krishna says, but if we are not careful, then we will be in that loop of doing everything for ourselves only. And pleasing Krishna is out of the picture. And we do everything for ourselves, and that looks like bhakti. We are doing bhakti. We are trying to glorify Krishna, but we are doing everything for ourselves only. So they look very similar, but we are actually walking the weeds. How many of you are able to relate to me or no? Either you are very pure or or you are not even able to understand, or you are able to understand and you are okay with it.
This me is fallen.
Huh?
Fallen.
In a day of 24 hours, continuously I'm working for myself. I don't know when will I start serving Krishna, bro. There are some devotees who actually like to serve Krishna. There is Akshay Gopal Prabhu, Rasya Bhoi Prabhu, Sham Kishore Prabhu, Yugal Kishore Prabhu. But here is somebody sitting who is working only for one person. So this is because of the weed. And that weed look very similar to bhakti. And we are watering the weed and we think, no, this is bhakti, this is bhakti, this is bhakti. But it's all for ourselves only. How many are agreeing? Understanding and agreeing. You all are with me? Group of fallen people in ISKCON gather together. Every Monday, fallen souls come together. But then, what to do? So, how do we make it into realization? How do we actually act? Now, you all understand this, right? It's not we don't know this, but we are not able to act on this. So, what it takes to be able to act on this? How can we come to the point of being able to identify? See, last one. And he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. How many times are we alert to keep it separate? We mix and take it together. साथ चलो, भक्ति के साथ साथ पूजा, लाभ, प्रतिष्ठा, सब कुछ साथ चलो. How many of the time you are able to keep it separate and just nourish the bhakti lata? Correct, right? You are able to relate with me? No. If you cannot relate with me, you start preaching. Then you become more self-centric. Telling Shyam Ji Prabhu, जो प्रचार हो जाते हैं उनका हरि बोल हो जाता है. You become more of an enjoyer actually. It's very dangerous service actually. जिसको भी प्रभु मुझसे बोले, वो भी ग्रैंड रैपिड्स आए थे कल, वो बोले मैं कभी प्रचार में नहीं जाऊंगा प्रभु, इसीलिए प्रचार में जाना डेंजर है. No, but we have to do, even if you have to take many lifetimes, you have to stay here. Till I think we should do it. Yesterday in the call, we were discussing, you all will go back and we will stay here. We will keep speaking and you apply, you go back, you'll keep speaking only. Thing will continue. So how do we actually put that into practice? This is spoken by um, um, and in a conversation between Maitra Muni and Vidur. And there, Vidur asked Maitra Muni, why is the living entity suffering? Why is he in so much distress? Maitra Muni says the living entity is so much distress because he misidentifies himself with the body. And all the distress comes only to the body. And because he misidentifies himself with the body, he feels he is going through so much distress. And then how can he come out of this conception? He says by the mercy of Vasudev. And how the mercy of Vasudev comes? By devotional service. And what is devotional service? Engaging the senses in the service of the Lord and by hearing and chanting. And Vidura says, I'm very clear with your answer, but I will be able to apply what you are speaking only by service to the lotus feet of a pure devotee. This one line I liked. What was that one line? Huh? I will be able to apply only by service to a pure devotee. कितने सालों से बोल रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं, पर कुछ होता नहीं है, करते वही है जो करना है, बाकी सब चलता रहता है. But our action don't change. We don't act on that platform. And this is because we are unable to render service to pure devotees. And then Vidura says, who don't get a chance to serve pure devotees? He says, those whose tapasa is very alpa, they don't get a chance to serve pure devotees. Those whose austerity is very meager, they don't get a chance to serve pure devotees. Serve करेंगे तो whatever is blocked, you'll be able to cross over if we serve. But not everybody get a chance to serve. Only those people get a chance whose austerity is sufficient. Tapas is very sufficient. Then I thought that's why I was sent to Grand Rapids. Tapas is very less, go away from devotees. And what do you think? Very sad story, bro. Our life is a sad story. Huh?
I agree, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay.
Distinguish between need and
Distinguish can come by hearing, Prabhuji. By hearing and Lord inspiration. If you are hearing constantly, reading, hearing, you identify what is right and what is not right. But the problem is once hearing is done, na, we act on who we are. We are not able to take it with us. And that's because we don't have that mercy. When mercy comes, na, the Lord will constantly tell you are doing wrong, 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 wrong. When Krishna gives that remembrance, then we'll be able to distinguish. But many times we are so attached to our desires. Even when we get the distinguishing factor, we don't want to take it and we want to be what we want to be. That is because of our attachment. And we are unable to. And when Krishna sees we don't want to give it up, Krishna takes away the remembrance of what is pure bhakti. He said, "You'll continue." And the weeds keeps getting watered. And the progress is then gradual. What to do? Correct, right? What we can do is we can put our Request in front of the Lord, my Lord. We are depending on your mercy. Please help us. By our own strength, we cannot come out of this watering the weeds. Constantly, we are watering the weeds. Today also, I watered a lot of weeds. What to do? Okay. Yes, what is
देखा जाला पाना उपसखा बड़ी आया शब्दा आना मोना सखा बढ़ते ना पाया. If one does not distinguish between the bhakti paper and the other papers, the sprinkling of water is misused because the other papers are nourished while the bhakti paper is threatened.
So we are chanting and hearing for ourselves. For whom are we chanting and hearing? हम खाना चाहते हैं. Result, we want to enjoy the results. Are you able to apply to yourself, or is it theory for you? No, theory for you. Maybe very pure.
How do we?
How do we?
So if you chant for yourself,
We are chanting and hearing so that whatever results come by our bhakti, we can enjoy the fruit of that results. We we want to use our bhakti to glorify ourselves. Want one example? My life is a living example. Today you are thinking that we need some commercial property. We're using our hearing and chanting to serve Krishna for glorifying ourselves. Constantly what we try to do is just to glorify ourselves, not for Krishna. Understood? Why you want a center? Glorify ourselves. Janasya mohoyam aham bhamiti. I am the enjoyer of everything. And how much are we able to do this is something for pleasing Krishna. We're using our hearing and chanting just to glorify ourselves. When will we start doing something, my Lord, this is for your pleasure? The thought even does not arise, I'm doing something for pleasing Krishna. Does it happen to all of you? No. You all do everything for Krishna's pleasure. No, right? We are just trying to do everything for our pleasure. What a sad life, actually. But what do we do? Still, we will do what we want to do. Understood how we are using our hearing and chanting just for ourselves. Because Prabhupada says, if you hear and chant, Krishna will help you fulfill your desires. And what is your desire? Me. If you want to serve Krishna, you can serve Krishna. You want to serve yourself, you serve yourself. Krishna will fulfill all your desires. And we are only trying to serve ourselves through hearing and chanting.
Prabhuji, we need to start somewhere, right? I think we will start.
When will that start come?
Already we started. I don't know when it will be. So we need mercy, right? I think mercy will add
Mercy.
to serve Krishna. So that mercy is not there.
Correct. You are right. You nailed it up. Mercy is not there. Mercy is not there.
So
So,
we are trying chanting, like, whatever sense we are trying, but
how many of you have a desire to go back to Godhead? See, I have no desire to go back to God. I want to just stay here. To please the Lord. How many of us do kirtan to please the Lord?
learning into that.
I'm learning with the. How many those who speak Krishna Katha? How many of you speak Krishna Katha to please the Lord? Correct. Why do we speak Krishna Katha? Become famous, glorify ourselves, impress others. How many of the time we are doing something to please the Lord? So what are we doing? We take water of hearing and chanting And hearing and chanting will give us some opportunity to speak Krishna Katha and we put on the beats. Then again, we hear and chant very sincerely. We collect lot of water because hearing and chanting. And then we put up here. Now laugh. Now profit. Now Punya Pratishtha. And Bhakti is not going. We take all the water to water the weeds.
The child, Hare Krishna Mahamantra translation itself will engage me in the service of God. Right? So we are asking it for me.
If you are doing that as a service, you are great. We are not doing as a service. We are doing to promote ourselves. Very sad to see, oh, this is the person I'm hearing from, and this is his heart. But this is the truth.
Where we are promoting from?
We are promoting. Right now, I'm promoting myself. We are always promoting ourselves. Right, Mataji? She's telling yes, right.
We're coming from so far.
Just to promote myself.
It's service of reach.
Yeah, so very pure hearted, that's why. So if one does not distinguish between bhakti creeper and other creeper, the sprinkling of water is misused because the other creepers are nourished while the bhakti creeper is curtailed. Santosh Prabhu, what do you think? Are you able to relate?
Yes, Prabhu.
But you're not able to relate. Eh? आपकी हाँ में आता ना है बाबा
Just example. 10 years back, I'm normally not used to sit on the floor for 1 hour. So after 10 years, we are able to sit there. Alright?
Success of Krishna consciousness after 10 years able to sit on the floor.
That is the first thing what I feel. So similarly, so many things, right? So we are taking baby steps, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we put some drops on bhakti and we put buckets on the weeds.
Yes.
So bhakti also grows, but weed become very powerful. How many weeds were there when you began Krishna consciousness?
So all are weights are
No, in the beginning, actually, bhakti is, I feel, very pure.
or
Only when you spend some time in Krishna consciousness, you strengthen the weed by hearing and chanting. One is able to relate with me. Initially, it's just like afterward, it's like that's why when time passes, you go further away from Krishna. Time further passes, you go further because we're watering more and more weeds now.
no, that is now it's a symbolization, I think I would say. When you I mean when you come into Krishna consciousness, the lotus feet appears very close. The time you spend and more, then it's very far. We are not there yet.
Because the thing is, initially, we are only focusing the bhakti. We serve all the devotees. We think all the devotees are great souls. We just want to become servant of servant. And then after some time passes, the equation turns upside down. Now I want everybody to serve me. Now I want to become master of everybody. The whole equation of bhakti turns upside down. So stay beginner only, but it doesn't happen like that. Now we become das and dasis. You all are very pure souls. My humble obeisance to all of you all. Keep in your prayers so I can start bhakti. Make sense? Clear? If you're able to clear with the verse, then we all apply at our level. You know, whatever is, but we should, if you're able to identify your weed, like I'm able to identify my weed, then let's start slowly working on it. Let's start slowly working on it. You know? How many weeds are there? How many? Asankhya. So these six are just common ones. Common ones. Weeds are unlimited. We have to identify our weed and work on it. If Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami describes all the weeds, and Chaitanya Charitamrita will be filled with example of weeds. है ना? So Mahaprabhu just says they are ashankya. Yes, Prabhuji.
Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that if one hears and chants without trying to give up offenses, one, bec- one becomes materially attached to the self gratification, greedy for material perfection. One may also victimized by diplomatic or behavior. One may associate with women for illicit sex. One may consider a Vaishnava to be mundane. One may desire mundane reputation by making compromises with non-devotees concerning one's philosophy.
Weird is over dominating the bhakti. When we don't know if because the weed is really controlling this, then how? So,
Yeah. So weed comes in the front, bhakti goes behind, and weed captures the mind. And even if you want bhakti, the weed is too powerful. Weed remains in front like this, and bhakti a little bit behind. And the front of the mind is weed only. And even if you try to focus on Krishna, I'm trying to do it for you, the weed says, no, 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 do it for me. And we cannot get the mind out of the weed. And join the club. One person is able to relate with you. This is what our that situation is actually. If it's not there, then it may come.
So then, that how far is the treatment? Like normally, how we at least act on the.
How to get the weed out and get the bhakti.
Mm,
One thing that we can try to do is like Vidur, third canto Vidur says, by remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, the material contamination goes away. This contamination, na, it overpowers the mind. But when you remember the lotus feet of the Lord or form of the Lord, or when you absorb yourself in Hari Katha, then kind of those things they clear up to come back again. Then they come back again. Then they clear up. What is this nonsense? Then they come back again. And then they come back again. And that's why Prabhupada says there's a constant tug of war between Krishna and Maya. But the thing is, are we able to identify Maya and work to get rid of her? Or are we embracing her? Are we looking forward to and embracing her with our all arms? I surrender to you. See, you already surrendered. Keep coming along with me. Or are we trying to get rid of her and get to Krishna? If you are trying, then you are in tug of war. If you are embracing, then you are happily engaged in her service.
if here in this case, the cause and solution is like cause also coming from like. So, but
So-
in solution also they say something.
That is, I mean, some is coming from bhakti, some is coming from past conditioning. But the solution is, if you remember Krishna, it will clear up. So we just have to become vigilant. Vigilant means when you see it coming up, you have to take shelter of Krishna. See it coming up. So you have to constantly take shelter of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, Maya will only make you strong. How will Maya help you? She will force you to take shelter of Krishna unless you give in to her. Because you see, unless I take shelter of Krishna, she is coming back constantly. So she will force you to make more Krishna conscious. And then your muscles will strengthen and you will become this much strong to handle Maya. In the beginning, this much only Maya we surrender. Yes. This much thought come, we surrender to you, Maya Devi. Then you become stronger because when you surrender, she kicks you. Then you are like, no, no, no. Then you face at her more, you face her more. Then Maya will start increasing her charms on you. And you have to take shelter of Krishna and say no, and say no, and say no, and say no, and say no. Then you will become this much strong. And if you become like Haridas Thakur, then Maya Devi herself cannot tempt you. So purpose of Maya is to make you surrender to Krishna. So Prabhupada says Maya is good. If Maya is not there, then I mean her job is to make you go forward, go closer to Krishna. But are we taking shelter of Krishna? Are we able to identify her and take shelter of Krishna and get rid of her? If you are doing that, then you are sincere. And Krishna knows I am putting this personality, this devotee of mine, we are not devotees, this pseudo devotee of mine, I am putting so that he or she can grow. He or she can grow further, can grow further. Everything is a stepping stone to go closer to Krishna. You have a question? You have a question? Yes.
The activities, example, the activity that I perform because of my past conditioning, like how can I blame my, what's the
Yes, I agree. Its past conditioning role is there, but that is all part of three modes. No? Which mode I'm governed by is based on my karma. Mostly mode of passion is like our dear friend. So which is coming because of past karma, I agree. But ultimately, more all the three modes is Maya, right? Together.
nature, like based on nature, like I do respond, yeah. So which is like in between, like how is it?
Yeah, I do respond to the nature I am prevalent by. So a devotee identifies, he knows that yes, I am in passion and ignorance, and this is very attractive to me. But then he has this what he has heard and Shastra and Guru and one's own Krishna's inspiration from within. I this is not right for me. And then he takes shelter of Krishna, and then he constantly tries to evade that and constantly try to remain pure in Krishna consciousness.
Not right for me is minus remembering
Huh?
things that wrong thing that I'm doing, it's not
Wrong thing that we are doing.
for me.
I mean, yeah, it's governed by three modes, no, Mataji. It's governed by three modes, no? Whether it is attachment, whether it is anger or envy, everything is governed by three modes. No? So everything is Maya Devi. Krishna clears her up. Krishna Surya Sama Maya or Andhakar Jahan Krishna Taha nahi Maya Adhikar. So Krishna clears that up. But if you're not clearing it up, we are feeding it.
That's nature, right?
Yes.
Because of that,
We want it, we contemplate on it, we work on it, we desire it, we we try to get to that point. We are feeding it. So one thing is I'm working to get rid of her. One thing I'm feeding her. If I'm feeding her, then we are watering the weeds. If we are working to get rid of her and we are able to see her presence, then it is only making us strong, and that's a sign of sincerity. Sincerity means you identify first, and then you are desiring to get rid of her, and then you're taking shelter of Krishna to get rid of her, to remove the contamination from the mind. But if identification is not there, and we are simply working blindly to feed her, how will she go out? She will never go out like that. Correct, right? She will continue with us. And then based on the mode, we take another birth based on which mode is prevalent. What do you think? Your question is answered.
not trying to give up offenses means what kind of offenses?
Offenses are happening by us day and night. I was just with Kalakanta Prabhu, we had a call, and Kalakanta Prabhu says, Prabhu, I mean, it was a group, Krishna House group call. So one Mataji asked question about offenses. She said, day and night I am committing offenses. So offenses are there. And what is the most common offense? To maintain material attachments. Anybody who is not maintaining material attachments? Not maintaining material attachments. If you have, if you are trying to get rid of it, you are great. I am saying maintain means you are trying to hold on to material attachment. No, 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 I can't let this go.
Children, everything is material attachment. Related to material world.
Krishna is sitting in your heart and Krishna will guide you because children can be taken care in a pure way and they can be taken care with attachment. And it just, I mean, there is no one answer, but it's based on whether it's Krishna center, it's not Krishna center. Yeah. If it is not Krishna center, then it's attachment. When it is Krishna center, then it is great.
But we are attached to um, Sangha, right? Means we need devotees.
That is great.
No, yeah.
Oh, this Maya is very subtle. In the devotee attachment also, some attachments are there which are not Krishna conscious. Maya is very subtle. The thing is, we have to do our own operation. We cannot live, we should not live blind as if all is well. Like movie आता था. Nothing is well in this real world. There is danger at every step, there is danger. If you're not careful, we are serving her. One lecture, His Holiness Ravana Swami Maharaj says, in one of the, he said, most of you are watering the weeds without your identification. This is how strong she is. So without your understanding, most of you are watering the weeds. तो अगर एक शुद्ध भक्त बोल रहे हैं सत्य तो होना ही होगा. And I was sitting there like most of them. Yes, that's true. With time, I realized it's really true. Most of us are watering the weeds because we're not able to. Well, Mahaprabhu is saying they look similar and we're not able to identify what is bhakti and what is weed. इस पे सोचो भगवान कुछ भी शब्द उनके खाली नहीं होते. Krishna does not speak any blank words. He is telling we are not able to identify, and if we think no, I can identify. You must be wrong. Krishna cannot be wrong. We cannot identify between weed and bhakti, and we are watering it thinking this is bhakti. But we know inside our heart. Hey, hey. ये कुती नाती है गुप्ती सी है. All right, are able to understand, then we are good. Rest is, it's a journey. It's a journey. We're trying to dissect the journey and become more careful of the journey that we are in and become more careful. रास्ता एक ही है. क्या रास्ता है? कृष्ण का शरण लेना है. कृष्ण का शरण लेना है. हर स्टेप पे कृष्ण का शरण लेना. How many of you are able to identify the weed? Identify the weed in your heart. At least one weed you are able to identify in your heart. No identification. No. How many of you are able to identify at least one weed in your life? At least one weed. Your hand is up. है ना? How many of you want to get rid of that weed? You don't want to get rid? Yes, you want to get rid. How many of you would work to get rid of that weed? And how will you work to get rid of that weed? When the desire comes, remember Krishna and let it. And you know what? It will go away like a dream. It's just a feeling. Krishna says it has no real basis. Krishna says my Maya has no real substance. It's just a feeling. उसी feeling में हम लोग फंस जाते हैं. उसी feeling में हम लोग जीवन बिता देते हैं. जीवन नहीं, अनेक जन्म बिता देते हैं. It has no real substance. उस feeling को आप भूल जाओगे ना, just like a dream gone. But when it comes, it looks very strong. Correct. Right? So we just have to, if you have a desire, I don't want to feed it. I want to take shelter of Krishna. Then you will get into the tug of war. She will keep bringing you back because of the modes of material nature we are in, and you have to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. You keep bringing, you have to keep pushing. If you take shelter of Krishna, you will win. Just to realize the new weed which is going to come to the way. And it will keep on coming till you become pure devotee. Maya is not going to leave you. You remember what Saraswati Thakur says? Two devotees both are chanting for 10 years. One made so much progress and one made very little progress. Why is it? What does Saraswati Thakur says? One is holding on to weeds with the anchor, and one let the anchor loose and let go of his attachment, and he's in the middle of bhakti. One is holding to the shore by the weed. No, no, no. This I cannot leave. अरे आगे भक्ति का सागर है, मुझे शोर पे ही रहना है। आप सागर में जाइए भक्ति के। नहीं नहीं, ये नहीं छोड़ सकता मैं। तो दो लोग 16 माला, एक सागर में अंदर है, बीच में है, एक उधर है, एक भूसागर भव सागर क्रॉस भी कर गया, एक छोर पे ही अटका हुआ, छोड़ ही नहीं रहा वो। तो सर ठाकुर says, why we not, why different advancement? We are the problem. हम छोड़ना ही नहीं चाहते हैं उसको। One devotee asked him, we hear why Maya is not leaving me. So Maharaj embraced that, leave me, leave me, leave me. अरे आप छोड़ो तो। माया इज टू पावरफुल। तो हम क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं माया को, माया इज नॉट लिविंग में, एम्ब्रेस क्यों किए हुए हो? I'm thinking any more thoughts on this? Okay. So it's 8:13 already. Let's read this one last verse. माताजी, आज एक सर्कल भी नहीं होगा। दोनों है, तीन।
हाँ।
तीन अच्छा है।
आत्मे उपशकारा हरये चेदना साबे मूला शाखा body Vrindavan. As soon as an intelligent devotee see an unwanted creeper growing beside the original creeper, he must cut it down instantly. Then the real creeper, the Bhakti Lata, grows nicely, returns home back to Godhead, and seeks shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna. If one is misled by unwanted creepers, he may be elevated to the higher planetary systems, but because he remains within the material world, he is subjected to the threefold material misery.
So what Mahaprabhu says? कट करो, कट करो, कट करोगे तो क्या होगा? You will receive shelter of वृंदावन। वृंदावन का आश्रय तो हमें चाहिए। हम रिमेम्बर करना चाहते हैं, हम सुनना चाहते हैं, हम एब्जॉर्ब होना चाहते हैं, पर हम शोर से निकलना नहीं चाहते। अरे वृंदावन उस पार है सागर के, हम ये छोड़ना नहीं चाहते, पर वृंदावन भी चाहिए। छोड़ो, आगे चलो तो मिलेगा, नहीं नहीं नहीं, यही से वृंदावन आ जाए, ऐसे होते नहीं है, ऐसे होता नहीं है। इसलिए भगवान क्या बोलते हैं, विदुर बोलते हैं, वी हैव टू डू डिवोशनल सर्विस इन द मूड ऑफ डिटैचमेंट। क्यों चैतन्य महाप्रभु इतना वैराग्य वैराग्य वैराग्य, महाप्रभु ने भक्त करना वैराग्य प्रदान? क्यों? वैराग्य बहुत मुश्किल है, छोड़ना नहीं चाहते हम बीट को। वैराग्य लोग समझते हैं वैराग्य मतलब कार नहीं चाहिए, घर नहीं चाहिए, वो तो फलगू है, वो तो वैराग्य है ही नहीं। तो सोचते वैराग्य मतलब ये भी नहीं चाहिए, ये भी नहीं, सब बेकार। वैराग्य मतलब दिमाग से हटाओ, है ना। एंड कृष्णा, यू नो, कृष्णा विल फुलफिल योर डिजायर्स। आपको क्या चाहिए? अपने लिए नेम फेम चाहिए, लो। भगवान बोलते हैं नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन में, व्हाटएवर यू डिजायर ही विल गिव यू, ऑल्दो इट्स फ्री, ही विल गिव यू। नहीं अथामम प्रपद्यं तथा वजाम्यहम्। If you want to think he doesn't exist, he will give you the feeling he doesn't exist. He is neutral. He will give you what you want. You are responsible for the results. He says, Prabhupada says, man proposes, God disposes. Whether in spirit or bhakti, he will give you. You have to be intelligent to not wanting it. That is your responsibility. That is not his responsibility. He may give you the understanding, but if you still want it, he will fulfill your desires. And because you are not developing closer, what can name do? Nama Chintamani Krishnas, like desire fulfilling. So desire fulfilling ना, so जो भी इच्छा करोगे वो मिल जाएगा. सो नाम जब कर रहे हो, नाम से जो इच्छा है वो इच्छा पूर्ण हो जाएगी, पर वो इच्छा भी नहीं हो सकती. सो नाउ वी आर यूजिंग वाटरिंग द वीड. नाम के बलबूते पे आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो कि नाम में इतनी शक्ति है, बट वी मिसयूज हियरिंग एंड चैंटिंग फॉर आवर पर्पस. But if we can cut that off and do it only for the purpose of bhakti, only to please Krishna, then you will attain shelter of Vrindavan. तब तक you will keep getting all your desires fulfilled. जो चाहिए मिल जाएगा. पर water कुछ और होगा. Good. Sufficient discussion on this topic. We'll continue by. बड़ा अच्छा लगता है अभी discuss. Okay. All good. ग्रंथ श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गौ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि.
वन सकल पाठन देशा कृपा संविदे एवचा पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव.
Thank you very much. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble self. मैं अपने से ही बात करता हूँ क्योंकि we talk to listen. कि समझो समझो समझो. Thank you devotees for joining on Zoom very much. Danvat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Dandot
you.
pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Dandot, thank you very much.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.